What's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever episode 73 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. As always, I'm Tim Gettys, joined by the coolest dudes in video games, Colin Moriarty and Greg Miller.
Hello.
Hello.
Good to be
here.
here.
We are reunited once again.
Congratulations on a successful Kind of Funny Live.
Thank you.
One day we'll get you on a podcast with Jeff Gerstmann.
It needs to happen. He's always like my substitute.
Yeah.
He's the cooler, better version of me. And,
That's one way of looking at it.
It is. I mean, he is one of the coolest dudes in video games.
100%.
Hands down.
100%.
I'm still working there. I'm still trying to gain that title.
You have quite the look on right now. This is a great look, this Metal Gear. Well, that I don't know if that's how you want to model.
That's the cool move, right?
That is not how you model jackets, no.
Colin, is it?
That's how you model your boobs if you want in your jacket.
Well on my way. But yeah, one day I want to talk to Jeff because he has a lot to say. And I have a lot to listen to him say.
Yeah? Have you listened to our Patreon exclusive one-on-one
yet.
episode yet? Available at patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. $1 gets you that one. And if you've never donated before, then there's like 18 hours of podcast available.
Good. Yeah, so for the uninitiated over there, you can go to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. Get all types of goodies over there. You get this show early. You get, which you're going to want it this week. This one, I can tell you right now.
Worth the $1?
Worth the $1. But if you don't want to do that, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. Everything will be distributed as time goes on. Not the goodies, though. The goodies, those are exclusive.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to talk about E3 predictions.
Yay! It's the most wonderful time of the year.
I've been really not looking forward to this E3, just in the sense that nothing to my taste is necessarily going to be there. Nintendo's, not exactly been, showing its best hand.
Sure.
But as we get closer now, and as I made this list of things that
Right.
may or may not be there, oh man, E3 is the best.
E3 is the best.
There is nothing better than the pre-E3 hype. The only thing better is the E3 hype. And then there's that post-E3 discussion.
Yeah.
My God.
Is E3 really the best?
It is the best.
It is the best,
Colin.
Colin.
Is it the best?
It is
It's
the
the
best. It's fun. It's exciting. There's things happening. You
gotta
see
beg
your
to differ with
friends.
you
You
on that.
see some developers. You see some
I
announcements.
have too many friends.
You don't really.
I don't want any more
You
friends.
don't
I gotta
really.
call the herd.
You have a lot of people on Facebook. That's
Yeah.
all there is. That's all there is. Now you get to go down there. Maybe you see some of your Insomniac friends.
I will maybe see what some of
They show you a VR game. You go out for some Indian food. Maybe Jeremy Dunham rolls by and says you want to go out for some dinner.
I can't sustain all these relationships forever.
I mean, no, you can't. But people die. It's okay.
Yeah, someone's gonna die eventually.
I realized my excitement for E3 when I was talking to everybody at Kind of Funny Live too.
Oh yeah.
When they're all just like, oh my God, it's how stoked are you? I'm like, wow, it is very soon.
That's
Like,
the thing
it's-
about it. I think,
E3
with
is
this
happening.
E3 is happening. Will there be exclusive merch?
Probably not.
No, there'll be exclusive swag. No, that's the thing is E3's definitely snuck up on me this year because Kind of Funny Live was right there, and now we're like, oh, good to take a breath, and it's like, nope. I'm planning E3 for us. There's a million emails, and so like today, booking that Thursday. Being as tired as I am, wait till you see the Thursday. I was like, this won't be a bad day, and I'm like, oh, motherfucker.
So, speaking of all that, I want to get right into it. Well, first off, shout out to Patreon producer Steven Insler. Once again, the homie, making things happen over there on Patreon.com.
Thank you, Steven Insler.
Kind of Funny Games.
Thank you.
I'm going to do, seeing as this is the E3 predictions episode,
Sure.
I want to, let the people know what we know about E3. We know that on Sunday, EA will have its press conference of sorts.
Yeah.
EA Play, I think they're calling it. 1 p.m. Pacific time, aka the only time that matters. Then Bethesda on that same very Sunday, 7 p.m.
Pacific time.
They're going to announce some shits. Monday is when things get real. Microsoft, 9:30 a.m. per usual. Going to come in, drop some bombs.
Right.
Ubisoft, however the hell you want to say.
Ubiquitous.
Monday, 1 p.m.
Ubiquitous.
And I really hope that at that conference, in the middle of it, you see, here comes the money, and Vivendi comes out, and it turns out they bought him on stage at that moment. It's like all WWF stuff.
Then Sony, 6 p.m. coming in to wrap up the day.
Give me a pound for ignoring that dumb PC conference.
Oh yeah, there's a PC.
Hey everybody, who wants to look at keyboards that light up in different colors?
Blue's all that matters. Then Tuesday, Nintendo coming through without even a direct. They're just doing Zelda all day.
Twitch
With a
streaming,
couple
right?
Their Nintendo Treehouse, as they call it.
Now, Tim.
Audrey Drake will be repping.
Will she? For sure?
I mean, she always does.
All right, good. I like Audrey a lot. Now, Tim.
Yes.
That's a lot of content happening.
It is.
What are we doing around it?
We're doing everything around it, Greg. So all day Sunday and all day Monday around those conferences, we will do and you will get a pre and post show of every conference. So leading into it, you get at least a half hour.
30 minutes before every conference for sure. We're live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames.
We're going to be talking about it, letting you know what we think is going to happen, even in addition, last minute stuff after this episode happens. Then post show, we're going to do the Gamescast Spectacular, where we do our breakdown and kind of analyze and discuss all of the announcements and shenanigans that happened.
Now, two things on that front. If you're not one of these Twitch kids, you're not going to be able to, maybe you're just catching news late, you're worried about missing it. All the post shows, the Gamescast Spectaculars, will go live on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames pretty much immediately after.
And iTunes and SoundCloud and all the podcast apps.
Wherever you get the Gamescast, it will be there.
Episode.
With the exception of the post show for PlayStation. When the PlayStation press conference ends, we are doing a live PS I Love You XOXO. Tim will be on it.
I will.
We'll all have your reactions there. We'll put that up as usual. We're not going to make it wait till 9 a.m. That'll go live in all the same place as usual, which is similar to what's happening with this show.
Exactly.
But put a pin in that for 1 second.
Yes.
Because that happens Sunday and Monday, all these live things. Tuesday, the show starts proper at noon, usually when Nintendo's conference ends, but now they're just streaming all day, so who cares? Noon, the doors open. We are live streaming twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames from an undisclosed location at E3 with all sorts of guests, reactions, all sorts of cool stuff and shit. I can say shit.
Yes.
Shit for you. Then Wednesday and Thursday, we throw off the shackles. The first time I think in like 4 or 5 years, I'm not shackled to a live streaming desk, and we go play games and we do Let's Plays for you, and we go do Gamescast and we go do all this different stuff. And youtube.com/kindoffunnygames is populated with amazing content.
Yeah, that was the thing. Last year we got a lot of feedback about what you guys thought of our E3 coverage, and a lot of people loved it. We sat with GameSpot the entire time, did the show, and that was awesome. It was so much fun. But a lot of people were like, "Oh, I wish we got more Let's Plays or reactions or this and that." We're going all out on that stuff.
The way I've been talking about it really is it's doubling down on what worked well for us last year. Last year, you guys came out in droves for the Twitch pre and post shows, so we're doing those again. You liked the interview stuff, so we have one day of that on Tuesday here on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, and then the rest, podcast breakouts, Let's Plays here, and all these different things. We're just free to go do whatever and actually listen to what you want to see if there's something that we don't have booked that's breaking. That's huge.
So keep it locked to youtube.com/kindoffunnygames.
Now, pulling the pin out, similar to how the PlayStation press conference will end and we'll do a PS I Love You instead of a Gamescast. We are doing today something interesting. Usually you'd expect us to open with what are the predictions for PlayStation. Play the annual game I invented for Colin, where we go through and do all these different predictions, and then Colin goes really too in-depth, and M-Dog gives him 2/5 of a point, and he gets really mad. That's still going to happen, but as obviously a PS I Love You XOXO segment. That's how we do it. So what we're doing here is putting the PlayStation predictions at the end of the Gamescast, and that will be topic of the show in PS I Love You XO. It's the first time the Gamescast cross PS I Love You XOXO has ever happened. I'm pretty stoked about it. So if you're listening to this on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, you got it early. Congratulations. You get to hear tots before anybody else on Tuesday.
So because of that, we're starting off with a bit of that Microsoft.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you over Greg's loud swallowing. What did you say? What's coming? We're starting with?
Swallows nicely, Colin.
So rough life today.
Here's what we're gonna do with the Gamescast. We're gonna each topic. We're gonna look at the different devs and publishers.
Right.
Kind of go through the games that we know will be there and the things that we think might be there, and kind of decide what we think is gonna happen. Is it gonna be a hit? Is it not gonna be a hit? Will it be shown? Will it not be shown? If you saw last year's show, you're familiar by now.
Yeah.
We're going to start with the Microsoft. Now, before we do that, I want you guys to remember that last year, Sony dropped the E3 of Dreams. It was called the Year of Dreams. And we've gotten a lot of little tidbits and teases that this is going to be the sequel to that. This is going to be the Year of Dreams 2. Now, I'm specifically hearing that about Sony. But me, being the optimist that I am, I'm just going to hope that it's for everybody.
Sure.
Nintendo's already, crushing my dreams, but everybody else needs to, pick that up for me. And they're going to raise me up to the skies. And I believe that they will. So I'm going to be hopeful that all the good things are going to happen. So when I'm making predictions, I'm not predicting what I really think.
Oh, you're swinging for the fences on this.
I'm predicting what I fucking want to happen.
You want the perfect
cop out.
No, but hey, I'm standing by it. Though.
Oh my God.
I'm going to stand fucking by him. Cop out. No. I
can't wait.
I fucking believe, Colin.
All right.
So
all right, we'll see. I thought when you were saying E3 of Dreams, I was like, Dreams was that. I think.
I don't think the Media Molecule is ready to make Dreams 2 yet.
No. I don't know about all that. All right, starting out with Microsoft. Scorpio. Will it be shown? Will it be talked about?
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you think will be shown / talked about?
I think that they'll have so there's this thing. So Scorpio is, for people that don't know, is the new Xbox One code name apparently. And it might somehow have something to do with Project Helix, which is the idea that they're going to start merging more closely Xbox and PC, Windows PC gaming together. I do believe that Scorpio is not coming out this year, but I think that they have to say something about it now to, if anything, quell fear about it. That Xbox One is still viable and that Xbox One, the one you want to buy, is still worth it. I
think that's the big part of it, right? For me, and the Scorpio deal is going to be that, yeah, that's what we've talked about, because they leaked at the same time in that one story, which we were talking about on Colin Moriarty Live, right? Should have been broken in two. I think they come out and they're like, guess what? Redesigned Xbox One, smaller, cheaper. It's here. We've listened to your complaints and your concerns. That's where it is. Here's this nice little price point for it. However, we are future proofing. We are trying to make it better. We are trying to move you closer to this ubiquitous PC Xbox system. This is what Scorpio is. And it's not ready for prime time. It'll be out sometime next year. A lot of vague things, right? So that you can get on board right now and say, well, they finally made a smaller, cheaper Xbox and Gears is coming out. So why not get on board? I don't care. I don't need this, that, and the other for how fancy it's going to be.
Yeah, I think an Xbox One price drop might be in order as well.
If they do a small one, for sure.
Yeah. So the word is that there's gonna be a slim Xbox, maybe there. It can't get any bigger. So, yeah. So I think that there's gonna be quite a few hardware chats as well. There's also rumors that Oculus, they're working on an official kind of VR partnership with Oculus. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was mentioned as well in the kind of the hardware segment. But I think it would be foolish of them not to talk about Scorpio because, or whatever it will be called, it won't be called Scorpio. But just because ignoring it doesn't make it go away. And I actually think the marketplace is going to be a little skittish if you don't start talking about it now.
Yeah,
100%. People, if you come out and you say there's a smaller Xbox and you don't mention the fact that this thing that's all but rumored and all but true and Phil Spencer's been hinting at forever, then you're exactly where we are right now with PlayStation 4, correct? Where it's like, cool, Uncharted 4 is out, and I was going to buy a PS4 for that, but I now know about that there's this thing called Neo or PlayStation 4.5, so fuck that.
Yeah, they unfortunately for Microsoft, they have way more time. It seems like, according to the rumors, before their console's ready. I still think we'll get into the PlayStation predictions later. That Neo is imminent. So they have to say something because there's probably more than a year between the conference and when Scorpio is actually going to hit market, and so they're going to have to sell a lot of. They hope to sell millions and millions of Xbox Ones in that time. If you give the market a reason to buy a cheaper and slimmer Xbox One, I think that's a smart move in the meantime, in the interim, and those can obviously be on sale at the same time as well. So.
Do you think that there'll be three at the end of the day? There'll be the Scorpio, there'll be the slim Xbox, and then the normal Xbox.
I think that they'll be. I think you'll have three moving around, but I think by the time Scorpio comes out, the slim Xbox will be the replacement for the big Xbox.
100%.
And I think that they'll start liquidating those other Xbox Ones if they haven't really stopped production already. I don't know. I don't know anything about that kind of stuff. So. In terms of Microsoft's thing, it's just that they need to push more Xbox Ones. That Xbox One is bloated and ugly and huge and probably way too expensive to make. So I think that they're not stupid. They see the PS4 and they know that a more powerful machine is way slimmer and way smaller and way sleeker. And I think that they can do better with Xbox One. I think they know that. So, and the bricks outside of the system, it's just like a whole mess. The Xbox One's kind of a mess when you really look at it in terms of like the hardware itself. So I think there's a lot of refinement that they can be done, and I think that that's going to be out way sooner than Scorpio. But by the time Scorpio comes out, I think the fat Xbox will be a relic, just like the fat PS3.
HoloLens, will it make an appearance?
Possibly. I don't know. I mean, I'm not so sure HoloLens is ever going to make it to market, but it's a cool piece of hardware. They could talk about it. They did last year with Minecraft. I mean, it made sense, but unless they really have an intention of selling this thing, and I'm not so sure they do.
I wouldn't be surprised if it had something like it had last year, but smaller even, where it is just like a mention here or a mention there about the future and what they're possibly coming up for. And then, on the show floor, there is a demo similar to how it was last year, right? Of, well, all right, you're getting into this multiplayer match. Let's use HoloLens for it. And then you go and play. But yeah, the fact that they have been so quiet about HoloLens and there haven't been all this leaks and VR is running away with the conversation, I don't know if it's the right time to jump out and try to make a deal out of it when it is going to be a year dominated by Oculus and PSVR and Vive. And I think if you can come out and say, all right, cool, like we are partnering with Oculus, there is going to be some integration here. That's a stronger message than we're still working on this tech. Don't forget about it. But I think that's farther off than people really give it credit for.
Backwards compatibility. Do you think it'll be a big deal at the conference?
No, I don't think so.
It'll be another mention. Then last year we debuted backwards compatibility, and now more than X number of titles are available for you. I think it's like one of your bullet points when you're getting the ball rolling about what's happened in the last year of Xbox.
Yeah, I don't think it'll make a big deal. It wouldn't make any sense at this point. Unless they had like some I don't know enough about what's going on over there. Unless they had a series of substantial games that have yet been ported, I don't think it's worth talking about again. It would sound a little redundant.
All right, getting into the games here. Gears 4. We can assume there'll be a gameplay demo.
Yeah.
Huge
Gears 4 will
blowout for
probably
that
be
thing.
the marquee title there.
Yeah. Crackdown 3.
Yeah, that'll be there.
Ooh, yeah.
That'll definitely be there.
The big question for me, do you think that they'll do the multiplayer beta available right now? Deal with that guy.
It's possible. I don't. They'll probably use something like that with one of their games. I don't know that that's going to be that game, because there's Sea of Thieves floating around as well, which I think is going to need a beta. And so I'm not quite sure what their plan is with Crackdown 3, but they must show way more of that game. I think that game's just cursorily in getting news every day for Colin Moriarty Live and just reading about video games every day as I do. Like, I just don't see that much chatter about Crackdown, and I think the game looks really great.
I think it's just because it's been quiet for so long.
Yeah, but they need to start revving the engine again. They announced it too early. I mean, this is a they've announced almost all of their games too early, actually. So it's with the exception of maybe Gears. So yeah, I think that might be a safe assumption to make, but I don't know. But Crackdown 3 will be a marquee title there as well.
I think it'll be a marquee title, and I wouldn't be surprised if it just went the usual way of Crackdown, where it's not available right now for everybody. You put it with Gears. Remember, that was the big. Remember when Crackdown originally came? That was the big deal when it got put in with Halo or whatever.
Yeah. See, my thing is, I think that so Crackdown obviously they need to talk about a lot. I think Halo Wars 2 is the other big title that they'll show off and stuff. And my thing is, they're either going to do the available right now for Crackdown beta or for Halo Wars demo.
Okay.
But I think both of them will be announced. One of them will be a right now thing, and one of them will be
down the road.
Down the road. So the Halo Wars demo, I think, is more down the road.
How far out is Halo Wars?
Halo Wars
do we know?
is further out, I think. Than
Okay.
Sega's making that, right? In one of their studios, Assembly or whatever.
Creative Assembly.
So I don't think that game's anywhere near being done. So I would assume that they're not even remotely in alpha, nonetheless beta. So I would say if you're going to have one of those games, Crackdown would be the one. Because I think Crackdown. Have they put a date on it yet? It's got to be the fall or the spring?
I don't think they have, but I'll
somewhere
check.
around there. I don't know.
Yeah, I do not know. Sea of Thieves. Do you think that they'll have a nice demo for it during the conference?
Yeah, I think so. I think you have to show Sea of Thieves because I feel like there's people that are interested in it. It's a different kind of game for Rare, and I wonder if there's really actually a lot of enthusiasm around it or not. I think you have to kind of start revitalizing that as well. So
that's the game you have to sell.
Yeah.
Crackdown 3 just says 2016.
2016.
Yeah.
I don't know that Crackdown makes it this year, but I don't know that you even need it this year either. That's the other big thing.
Sure.
But yeah, we'll see what happens because I think Recore is supposed to be this year too, right? So I think that you want to spread your games out a little bit. We'll see.
Recore's the next one on the list. Do you think we get an actual gameplay demo of that or just
I think we get a
trailer?
gameplay demo and a release date. I think that game's probably got to be pretty much ready to go. That's an Armature game, right? So that's being made in the States. It's been in development for a while. Looks
have we
really
seen
cool.
gameplay? Last I remember is the E3 trailer.
I don't think so, no.
Yeah, so no way that's this year.
It could be. I think because I really don't. I'm not so sure Recore is going to be. It's a AAA game per se, but I don't know that. The bona fides of Armature and kind of what's going on with Inafune and all that kind of stuff is really going to lend that to being a massive game, and I think that's a game you might want to just get out.
That's not going to be a massive game at all. No, that's one of those games that replaces the mid tier I always talked about. Right here is this game that Microsoft's behind, but no, it's not. I mean, when you start looking at like, I don't know, a thermometer, a barometer, right? It's below Quantum Break for sure in terms of like how people are going to be hyped for it and what's going to happen with it.
Mm-hmm. It's not getting TV commercials.
Exactly.
It's with a bunch of other games.
Yeah, no, definitely
the best place to play. The strongest Xbox lineup in years. Ever.
Killer Instinct. I'm sure we'll get some character.
Yeah, that's huge.
Or whatevs.
Huge.
Cuphead, I'm assuming will like during the conference.
I think you get a release date for Cuphead too.
Yeah.
Do you think they make a big deal about it in the conference, or is it just something that happens at the show?
I think I would hope that they actually give it a release date and a standalone trailer, not just an Xbox ID thing. I think that it's a big enough deal for them, and it has been like there's excitement for that game, and I think that they understand that and they know that, and I think that hopefully it's a place where it's ready enough to make big announcements about, and I think that they'll kind of give it that promoted push that I feel like it's deserved and earned over the last couple of years with all the Game of the Show awards and all shit. So.
Yeah, I can't say for sure, but it seems like Cuphead's one of those games that ID at Xbox identified and dumped money into, and that game was supposed to be done way sooner, and I feel like they went back to the drawing board with their extra capital and refined the game, and I think it probably has to be ready to go at this point. Very complicated game to make because of the art style, but I think that has to be this year, and I would be surprised if that wasn't there, and I'd be surprised if it didn't get a release date. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was soon.
I mean, it should be. I feel like we've been talking about Cuphead forever.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to get that out because I think they did burn not goodwill, but a lot of their limelight because it did when that debut of Cuphead, everybody was like, "Holy shit!" And then it's been like, okay.
Yeah, from what I heard, they went back to the drawing board a bit and added, because like the big critique was that there wasn't enough.
It's just boss fights.
It was just boss fights. There wasn't platforming and stuff. And from what it sounds like, they went back and are adding platforming stuff, which is super awesome. I'm excited about that. Now getting into the more kind of completely unconfirmed stuff, very speculative. Battletoads.
No, I don't think so. I think that this is the Crash Bandicoot of Microsoft. I don't think that. I really personally do not believe Sony has any interest in and is not going to do Crash Bandicoot, and I could be wrong. And I really feel like the same things with Battletoads. I don't know like why you'd invest money in a series that's been dead for so long. It's nostalgic for some people, and it'll be purchased by some people. But we can see that they were wearing Battletoad shit and stuff because of Rare Replay, and I think it's a red herring. I don't know. I'd be surprised if it is. It's a $20 game being made by some studio you never heard of. I don't think any of their like internals are working on Battletoads. I would love to be wrong, by the way. I'm just being realistic. That's all.
Halo 6.
No.
Did we get a teaser?
No way.
You don't think so?
No. You interfere with Gears and stuff. You wait.
You interfere with Halo Wars.
See, I think that at least a teaser is not at most a teaser. I think might be a good idea just to kind of get that ball rolling on just the continuation, specifically because Halo 5 was supposed to be the start of a new thing, like to keep Halo relevant, because at this point it's as relevant as it is. It's just going to keep kind of going, but I feel like it needs that fire of, this year is Gears, but Halo is coming still. I think it'd be good for them to keep that in the conversation and stuff, and I think a teaser would be a strong call for them.
I disagree, just because I think that we're starting to, we're already talking about games that are announced too soon, games that have been in the limelight too long that like missed their arc. And Halo 6 is a 2019 game, maybe. Like so it's like, why would you ever say, and maybe 2018 if you're lucky. So why would you ever say anything about that game? Now, I think you just leave it alone and let I think they have to take some critical feedback, but more importantly, like I said it before the game came out. Like I don't believe for a second that game sold nearly as well as the other Halo games, and I think that they have to go back to the drawing board and figure out why that is, and flesh that out and figure that out, and give them time to 343 to make the game they want to make. So I think it would be a huge mistake to announce a game 2 to 3 years before it's going to launch, even in a teaser. And I like the Halo 5 teaser. I thought it was very cute. It was in the desert and stuff. I'm like, it's a cute little kind of thing for people.
Everyone's like, you didn't wear the poncho in the game. Bullshit advertising.
But yeah, to me, I think you let Gears take the limelight, and I think that they understand that the trajectory of Halo is down. I think that's obvious. So let Gears have the limelight. Like, Gears looks fucking great. And just let them, and they have these other games that they have to get out, like Scalebound and shit. It's like you don't want to announce too many things.
So Scalebound, do you think that they'll actually give a release date?
No, I think that when we saw Scalebound last year, it was running like garbage, which I remember I was like, wow, like I can't believe they're even showing this. And I think they have a lot of work to do, and I think Platinum is clearly spread very thin. And as you can see from their last few games, that people just don't seem to like nearly as much. Their star is falling, like.
Oh, their star already fell.
Yeah, so I think they have a lot to prove with Scalebound, but I think you only show it when it's time, when it's ready. Should they be at Gamescom, I think that you'll see that there, since that's when it was revealed the first time, I think.
I think you'll get a trailer, some kind of mashup, whatever, but yeah, you won't get a full-fledged demo. You won't get a release date.
Yeah.
Any new IP shown?
Yes, 100%.
I'm sure.
Like a big new IP, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know what that could be. But yeah, investing in new IP is smart. Like I was saying, like I think both Sony and Microsoft suffer from the same problems, which is going back to the well way maybe one too many times with some of these games. They need new franchises. So it'd be smart to invest in that, even if it's a second party, and it probably is. Mm-hmm. And they are investing in that. Scalebound's a new IP from a second party. Technically a third party being published by a first party. Record's obviously a new IP. So I think to continue to invest in that would be smart.
I think that's I think those are the level of announcements you'll see. Just like you saw last year, where it was like, holy shit, they're working on the Inafune. Oh my god. Da, da, da.
So then the final thing for Microsoft, do you think there'll be any big third party announcements on stage at the conference?
I want to say yeah, but then it just gets in this weird thing of like, my knee jerk was like, oh, Mass Effect, but then it's like, well, EA's made such a big deal about that they're not going to be at the show. Does this count? How does that feel? They had their own thing the day before, but would they come out and do something special there? You assume Activision will be at Sony again. It just seems that's the new landscape. So then is it Ubisoft? Do you figure Ubisoft come out and they show off like, hey, here at our conference we announced the Division whatever expansion multiplayer map. Here it is. Let's walk you through, do the detailed demo like we sometimes do.
Mm-hmm.
I think EA will be there with Titanfall 2. I think that's a safe assumption. I mean, that is the home of Titanfall.
But that kind of makes it an interesting point, right? You think maybe they'd want to break out and go to PlayStation and be like, hey, we're here finally. It's because that speech writes itself when they come out, right? Ladies and gentlemen, whoever from Titanfall 2, and the place goes wild and come on, and he's like, it's so exciting to be on a PlayStation stage. We saw a lot of success with Titanfall 1. We're excited to be bringing it to the PlayStation platform, along with this fucking Shuhei Yoshida mech you can get into.
Yeah, I see it the opposite way, where I don't think Titanfall 2 is going to be like a huge game, and especially in the proximity in which it's coming out to Battlefield and Call of Duty, I think that game's not going to do as well as people think. And so I don't think you scorn the people that you dance with the one that brought you, and at least the Xbox fans that were there did buy Titanfall. And so I think you talk to them, and then you just put it out supplementarily on PS4 to get those gamers as well who are just interested. But I don't know if you want to fuck around too much with that. I think Titanfall still home is still on Xbox. So I mean, out of all the third party games, I think the Titanfall is probably the safest bet.
Interesting. No, I'm with you. It's just one of those things of I don't think it would piss off as many Xbox fans, because I think if you own an Xbox, you probably own a PlayStation 4 at this point. Not that I know don't get me wrong, I know there's plenty of people who don't, but
I just say that because I know they're going to split the difference between both of them, and I think EA is going to be at Sony with Battlefield. So,
yeah, that makes sense actually.
So we'll see. I don't know. Who the hell knows?
So moving on,